Hi, everyone. This is Sarah Russell, and this is the third in a little series of videos that I'm putting together for practitioners working in the holistic health field, looking to build or grow their practice in 2021. In the first video of the series, I talked about conducting an annual review in order to plan for the year to come with insights, starting by building insights into the year that has passed. So building on the past, learning from your past mistakes without stewing on them, and empowering yourself in order to have a really good year. Planning on the basis of objectives, on the basis of data, and creating action steps that are sustainable that can really help you reach your goals. In the second video, I talked about effective time management strategies. And today I'm going to talk about some emotional roadblocks that we can develop in relation to money. So there are a lot of different mindset issues that can impact our relationship with money. And I'm going to try to cover a few of them. But first of all, I just want to say it's really important when we work for ourselves to have compassion towards ourselves as people who might be coming from a place where we are used to working for someone else. So when you work for an employer, you do not have to justify to someone at the end of the week or whatever the pay period is that they need to pay you. They have hired you and they are accountable to paying you. When you are self-employed, you can be in the uncomfortable situation of having to justify to your clients, even without them, asking you for justification. There can be a defense mechanism that kicks in, where you find yourself justifying to your clients, or almost like apologizing when you ask to be paid. So it is really important to to be aware of the fact that can create some emotional difficulties at the beginning when you're transitioning from an employed situation where your paycheck just comes versus asking people, having a number of clients and asking each one to pay you. That can be uncomfortable at the beginning. Just acknowledge that and move through it. People will be very happy to pay you for your services, especially if you are working in integrity, if you are transparent about your fees up front, and there is honest, sincere communication and clear expectations set. So that's really important, and you can really help set yourself up for financial success and for good emotional balance in relation to your financial growth when you're kind of putting it into a bigger context where your service-oriented practice is framed in such a way as to have systems and frameworks that help explain to clients what the expectations are, what your fees are, and you're only working with clients who acknowledge the value of what you're providing and are excited to pay you because they know that they're getting a worthwhile service. So that will really help set you up for success and will help decrease the amount of emotional friction that you encounter along the way as a practitioner in your own practice. So a very common mindset issue that can occur is the fear of not earning enough. I think that it's a very complex and yet very common problem, and it is multifaceted. So part of it is grounded in the real fact that we can't always predict if month to month how things are going to go. Especially at the beginning, it can take a while to build momentum. So for some people, it really does make sense to maintain a part-time employed position while you grow your practice. You need to have a plan to do that, and you need to have a timeline. You need to be flexible to some degree because there will be some unpredictable things that come along the way. But the more consistent you are with your action steps, and the more effectively you plan and make your projections and move forward in a solid manner, the more you'll be able to reach those goals. And you will, if you want to do this work full time, you will be able to do that within a reasonable time frame. I do not recommend staying mired in a situation where you're working full time at a day job and you're also running your private practice. Something's got to give. You cannot you work 60 hours a week. That's not good for you. And even if you have just a few one-on-one clients, they are going to take a lot of bandwidth. It takes a lot of time. A consultation may last an hour and a half, but you have to factor in the fact that you're studying their case, you're preparing in advance, and then you're conducting the session, and then you're preparing, some kind of written notes and suggestions for your clients that they then can refer to in, as their plan. And then you're probably answering questions and providing some kind of follow-up care in between sessions. That's a lot of time. So you can't overload yourself, basically by having a full-time job plus this other thing on the side. And then you can develop all kinds of conflicted feelings and resentment because you're just doing too much. So that's really important. To summarize this first point, just really be aware of whether you have fears of scarcity, fears of not earning enough, and put it in perspective. Look at what the big picture is for you financially. Look at what is sustainable. I highly recommend not working more than 45 hours a week max. 45 hours is like a real max that you should try to keep very, very temporary in transitional moments where you're switching over from one thing to another, one system to another, or adding in a new program, or something like that. It should be an exception. So I highly recommend that even if you have an employed position part-time, that your total number of work hours, including prep time and follow-up time, that you're not overloading yourself and not allowing yourself to have a good work-family balance and enjoy your life. So the next thing that I wanted to say is that it's also very common for people to be afraid of earning too much. So you may come from a family where there are unspoken or even spoken beliefs about money being bad, about material possessions being bad. The more basic and essential your lifestyle, the better. To some extent, that might be really aligned with who you are. You may be, in many ways, I'm a minimalist. I really like experience over material possessions, but I also do have certain material things that I really do enjoy and increase my quality of life. So I'd like to try to keep a balance and be authentic and aligned with myself versus acquiring and absorbing passively some unspoken beliefs that may not be really serving me as an individual and might be actually stopping me from doing the service work that I'm called to do. So when I thrive financially, that is because I'm serving people who need help with their health, or other practitioners who are working in this service profession. So ultimately, we are called to do amazing work that can transform lives for the better. And I think that it's really great to heed that calling and work in integrity in such a way that you can be really proud of what you do and feel like you can really enjoy your life. You have a good income coming in. You're not, necessarily aiming to become super rich or anything like that. You have a balance of hours when you're working, hours when you're relaxing, vacation time. If you enjoy, nature, you should have access to that on a daily basis. You're taking care of your needs, you're nourished, you're moving, you're getting fresh air and sunshine and daylight and all those things. You're sleeping at night. All of those things are so important. And it's not just about having a good budget and making a good income. It's really about having that framed within a context where your whole life works. And you are addressing, hidden beliefs that you might have in your subconscious that are not really serving you in this current moment. In the past, you may have had to budget really stringently for whatever reason, but you don't have to stay stuck there now. Same thing, if you are afraid subconsciously or even consciously of upsetting balances within your family system, either your family of origin, your extended family, or even your own household where you live, where if you earn too much, somebody else might be uncomfortable. You might be outperforming a spouse or partner, or or your parents, and then suddenly the balances are upset and you feel like you have to justify yourself, just like you have to justify to the client that you're asking them to pay you. Then you're justifying to people the fact that you are getting paid for really important and valuable work that you do. That's not a great place to be. So please, get support. I really recommend being part of, some kind of a community where you're getting feedback. People are asking you questions. It could be a therapist, it could be a group mentoring program, it could be a one-on-one coaching with a practitioner or coach who is experienced in working with holistic health entrepreneurs, because we all need objective accountability, so that we are looking at what the issues are that we need to address, and we can just clean up and lighten our load so much just by being aware of what baggage we're carrying with us, and how to release what it is that we do not need and that is not helping us, the people around us, or the people that we work with and for. Another common issue that really stops people from thriving financially in this field is kind of, we could lump it into the category of bureaucratic anxiety. Um, it has to do with just these fears of, oh gosh, if I transition from basically just doing this kind of as a hobby to doing this as a job, I'm going to have to get a business license. I might have to get insurance. I might have to get a sales and use tax permit. I will have to file quarterly or annual, this tax and that tax and whatever. If I might have to track my income and expenses. Yes, of course. So that I'm filing taxes at the end of the year in the appropriate manner. So that to some people gives us a little bit of anxiety, and I highly recommend that you hire a team of professionals to support you with those things, like a bookkeeper and a tax professional can really do wonders in terms of just helping you by giving you the exact action steps that you need to do, the information you need to collect, or a checklist of things that you need to do, and then you just do them and you're done. And you're good to go. So you don't have, all of a sudden you're freed up to dedicate your time and your emotional energy to things where you are actually fulfilling your calling, as opposed to stressing about what happens bureaucratically as a result of doing your work. So that can be a huge sabotaging issue. So just think of that bureaucratic anxiety as a bit of an obstacle course that you just have to, you need help getting over those obstacles. And once you do, you're really in the clear. And sometimes people are afraid that when their income goes up, they'll have to pay more taxes, but just remember, it's proportional. So you're paying a percentage, and it might be an increasing percentage, but what is left is still more than what you had left before after paying your taxes. So, even if your income increases proportionally, you're paying more taxes, but what is left to you and your family is still more than it was at your baseline. So don't be afraid to grow. Trust that the process will work. And, I also really encourage people, not from a place of scarcity or of excessive excessive cutting and lack of enjoyment in life. But you can definitely have a budget reassessment where you can really lighten things, because a lot of us are spending money on things that aren't really ultimately serving us. I was just thinking about some of the categories in my spending, and certainly there are some expenses that I can easily cut just by making a phone call or changing an account or things like that. Things that I used to need, or that I thought I would need that I don't. Things that seemed useful that maybe aren't. things that are easily replaceable without changing my quality of life. So for example, switching from one product to another that give you a comparable result without diminishing the quality of your experience, or your health. Um, so these are all things that you can do. These are all empowering steps that you can take to make to help you have a more pleasant emotional experience, while at the same time growing your business and thriving financially, as a professional and as an individual, as a whole person who is supporting people from a bio-individual whole person perspective. So the same respect that you give other people is also the respect that you deserve to give yourself. And in that way, you are truly working in integrity towards yourself and others, and you're protecting yourself from burnout, and allowing yourself to enjoy the high standard of life that that you want for yourself, for your family members, for your clients, for your friends, and for your loved ones. So that is all I'm going to say for today, except for that if you would like to join my Foundations and Practice mentoring group, I would love to have you. We are going to go into the depths of practical and individual kind of emotional hangups that can stop people from thriving in their holistic practices. So I would love for you to join if you have some things that you think that you could address and that could get better, because it would be great to have an amazing 2021, don't you think? Get in touch with any questions, any insights that you have, or any struggles that you're experiencing, and I would love to hear from you. Okay, take care. Bye.